Ladies and gentlemen, life can often feel overwhelming, filled with moments where nothing seems to go as planned. We set goals, make plans, and hope for quick results. But reality often moves at a slower, more uncertain pace. In these moments, doubt creeps in. Why is this taking so long? Did God forget about me? What if my dreams never come true? If you've ever wrestled with these thoughts, you're not alone. Even the strongest believers face seasons of waiting and confusion. But here's the powerful truth that changes everything. God is in control, and His timing is perfect. The legendary evangelist Billy Graham once said, "God has a plan for your life, and His delays are not His denials." This means that what feels like a setback could actually be divine preparation. Think about the greatest stories in the Bible. Moses waited 40 years in the wilderness before leading the Israelites to freedom. David was anointed king, but spent years running for his life before taking the throne. Joseph endured betrayal in prison before God elevated him to save nations. Every delay had a purpose. So if you're in a season of waiting, don't lose heart. God is working behind the scenes in ways you can't yet see. This message is for anyone who needs a reminder that the Creator of the universe holds your life in His hand. When we learn to trust His timing, we find peace in the unknown, strength in the struggle, and hope for the future. Let's explore how to fully surrender to God's plan and embrace the beauty of His perfect timing. Understand that God's timing is different from ours. One of the hardest lessons in faith is accepting that God's schedule rarely matches ours. We live in a world of instant gratification, fast food, same-day delivery, and quick fixes. So when God doesn't answer our prayers immediately, we grow impatient. But the Bible reminds us in 2 Peter 3:8, "With the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day." God operates outside of time because He sees the bigger picture. Imagine a child begging for a cookie before dinner. They can't understand why the parent says wait, but the parent knows the cookie will ruin their appetite. Similarly, God's no or not yet is always for our good. Consider the story of Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a son, but as years passed with no child, Sarah took matters into her own hands, leading to strife and regret. Yet when God's timing was perfect, Isaac was born, fulfilling the promise in a way only He could orchestrate. This teaches us a vital truth. Delays are not denials. When we rush ahead of God, we create unnecessary problems. But when we wait on Him, He works miracles. Are you frustrated because a prayer hasn't been answered? A relationship hasn't healed, a dream hasn't taken off? Remember, God's timing is intentional. He uses waiting periods to strengthen our faith, refine our character, and prepare us for blessings we aren't yet ready to receive. Instead of resisting the wait, ask God, "What are you teaching me in this season?" Trust that His plan is worth the wait. Let go of anxiety and surrender control. Worry is the enemy of trust. The moment we try to control our circumstances, we take our focus off God and place it on our limited strength. Jesus said in Matthew 6:27, "Can any one of you by worrying add a single hour to your life?" Anxiety doesn't solve problems. It steals our joy and distracts us from God's promises. Surrendering control means admitting, "God, I don't understand this, but I trust you." Billy Graham often shared how he struggled with anxiety early in his ministry, until he fully surrendered his plans to God. Once he did, God opened doors no man could shut. The same applies to us. When we release our grip, God steps in. Think of a trapeze artist. They must let go of one bar to grab the next. If they cling too long, they'll fall. Similarly, we must let go of our timelines, our demands, and our fears to fully embrace God's plan. Practical ways to surrender. Pray honestly. Tell God your fears instead of bottling them up. 2. Replace what if with even if. Even if my dream fails, God is still good. 3. Focus on gratitude. Count blessings instead of problems. When we shift from worry to worship, we invite God's peace. Philippians 4:6-7 Surrender isn't passive, it's an active choice to believe God is working even when we can't see it. Recognize God's work in your waiting. Waiting on God isn't about sitting idle. It's about learning to see His hand at work even when the answer hasn't arrived yet. Some of the most powerful moves of God happen in what feels like the in-between times of life. The Bible is filled with examples of how God prepares people during their waiting seasons. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before leading Israel out of Egypt. David was anointed king, but spent years being hunted by Saul before taking the throne. Even Jesus waited 30 years before beginning his public ministry. What if these periods of waiting weren't delays at all, but divine preparation? One key to trusting God's timing is learning to recognize how He's working behind the scenes in your life right now. Here are 4 ways God often moves during our waiting season. First, God uses waiting to build our character. Romans 5:3-4 tells us that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. Those frustrating delays that make us want to give up are actually shaping us into people who can handle the blessings God wants to give us. Imagine if God gave you everything you wanted right now. Would you have the maturity to handle it? The waiting period is where God develops the patience, humility, and trust we'll need for what's coming next. Second, God uses waiting to redirect our paths. Sometimes what feels like a no from God is actually His protection. That job you didn't get, that relationship that ended, that door that closed, these might be God steering you away from something that looked good but wasn't His best for you. Proverbs 16:9 says, "In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." When things don't go according to your plan, it might be because God has a better one. Third, God uses waiting to deepen our faith. It's easy to trust God when everything is going well. The real test comes when we can't see what He's doing. Those are the moments when our faith grows the most. Like a parent teaching a child to walk. Sometimes God lets us struggle so we can develop spiritual strength. Every time you choose to trust God in the darkness, your faith muscles get stronger. Finally, God uses waiting to prepare the perfect timing. Ecclesiastes 3:11 tells us, God has made everything beautiful in its time. There are factors at work that we can't see, other people who need to be ready, circumstances that need to align, lessons that need to be learned. God isn't just working on you, He's working on everything and everyone connected to your situation. When all the pieces come together at exactly the right moment, you'll look back and understand why it had to happen this way. When we come to the end of ourselves, we come to the beginning of God. Your waiting season might feel like the end, but it's actually the beginning of something far greater than you could plan for yourself. The key is to stay alert to what God is teaching you right now. Keep praying, keep seeking Him, keep growing. The breakthrough is coming, and when it does, you'll see how every moment of waiting was part of God's perfect plan. So how do you know if you're truly trusting God's timing? Here's the test. Are you at peace even without the answer yet? Can you thank God for what He's doing even when you can't see it? That's the kind of faith that moves mountains. Keep your eyes open. God is working in your waiting, and what He has planned will be worth every moment of the wait. Friend, if this message spoke to your heart today, here's what I want you to remember. Your waiting season is not wasted time. It's sacred preparation. Every delay, every closed door, every unanswered prayer is being used by God to craft a story in your life that's more beautiful than anything you could imagine. Billy Graham said it best, God's will is not a tightrope we walk in fear. It's a pathway we follow in trust. Right now, take a deep breath and say this out loud. God, I trust you. I surrender my timeline. Your plan is better than mine. If you're watching this and feeling that nudge in your spirit, that hope rising up, then this is your sign. Your breakthrough is coming. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in the way you expect, but at the perfect time. Hit that subscribe button if you want more hope-filled content like this. Every week we share powerful reminders that God is working in your life, even when you can't see it yet. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Drop a comment below with "I trust God's timing." Let's build a community of believers who encourage each other while we wait. Remember, you are right on schedule in God's eyes. Keep standing, keep believing, and watch what He does next. Until next time, stay faithful and never stop expecting miracles.